talking about bad royals, specifically Tiberius, the Roman emperor. So Tiberius Claudius Nero was the successor of Emperor Augustus and ruled Rome for 23 years. When his mother was pregnant for his younger brother, she suddenly divorced his dad and married Octavian, taking the 3-year-old Tiberius with her. Tiberius was never actually supposed to become emperor. Every time Augustus tried to make somebody else emperor or primary heir to the emperor, they died, leaving only Tiberius left. For a time, Tiberius left for Greece. When he returned, he was forced to divorce the woman he loved, Vipsania, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and marry Emperor Augustus's biological daughter. They loathed each other, by the way, until she got exiled for being too promiscuous for Rome, which is a big feat, considering most of ancient Rome was based on boning. They did a lot of boning. Anyway, when Augustus died, Tiberius became emperor, obviously, and this is where things start to screw up his reputation. First, he tried to get the Senate to do their actual job and start governing, but they were all like, nah, I'm good. But for real, they refused to take any kind of responsibility whatsoever. And secondly, he wasn't exactly an elegant man. He is described as being too tall, ungainly, gawky, and shuffly, which led to embarrassing incidents like falling in public. Not that embarrassing now. I fall in public all the time, and nobody actually gives a crap or thinks it's embarrassing except me. Anyway, thirdly, he wasn't interested in public games like the gladiatorial games or racing. He didn't put many on himself, and he didn't attend many either, which was a political no-no at the time, a very big political faux pas. Because during this time in ancient Rome, the games were used as a political tool. And finally, he made the worst decision if you are a political person in power. He left the place he's supposed to be ruling. He left Rome. He moved to Capri, which is a small, barely accessible island off the Amalfi Coast, and stopped talking to anyone because he hated them all and they all hated him, which gave way for nefarious people, aka Sejanus, we'll talk more about him in a second, to place themselves as intermediaries between a disinterested princeps and a cowed, pathetic Senate. Sejanus tried to set himself up as princeps regitent, sorry, I don't speak Latin, by bumping off Tiberius' only son and marrying his daughter-in-law, which would result in him becoming Tiberius' heir. This isn't good for Tiberius, as people saw him either as approving of Sejanus' actions or an uninterested trash leader who let this happen because he couldn't be bothered. Sejanus' plot became known to Tiberius, and at that time he cleaned house by executing Sejanus and everybody associated with him, which in turn made him look like a bloodthirsty ruler, which in reality he wasn't, because he executed a senator, which doesn't look good to the rest of the Senate, which he was already having problems with anyway. Which is also funny that people considered him such a bloodthirsty ruler when Tiberius has one of the lowest death tolls among Roman rulers in general, with about approximately 50 people, which seems like a lot by today's standards, but in Roman emperor standards, it's pretty low. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it's also rumored that the small remote island that he was living on was turned into a sex island, where he had little boys called tadpoles give him fellatio. gotta be a little bit, at least a little bit hated if you have historical rumors running around that you were a pedophile, but yeah. And this was seen as unbearably filthy in Roman standards at the time, which I guess is good. I mean, Rome was all about boning back in the day anyway, so like, but there were various other things which were considered that were claimed that he had done, which were considered so rude that they were never even translated into English. They were that bad. Although this was never proven and is simply written down by somebody during the time period who was not personally involved with Tiberius, didn't know him personally, and had no way of knowing if this was true or not. It was also rumored that on that island he became cruel for no other reason than he was on a remote island and the Roman public didn't know what he was doing. He also ended up taking a sort of forced interest in his nephew Caligula, who we all know has a killer, and not in a good way, reputation, and moved him to Capri and adopted him. Caligula was one of the only two remaining male members of the Julio-Claudian line at the time, which makes people give Tiberius a lot of flack because he made him his heir, even though his choices were really limited at the time. And Caligula does have the reputation of being one of Rome's most bloodthirsty rulers, so... But a decade later or so, Tiberius died at the age of 77. So was he really such a bad ruler, or was it just a bad rumor? He did leave the place he was supposed to be ruling, so in that respect, he definitely is not a good ruler. But is he as bad as everybody thinks he is? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and also let me know who I should do next on Bad Royals. I'll see ya in the next video.